I'd like to start the press conference by Minister Hayashi. Minister, the floor is yours.
I have just one statement. I would like to extend my sincere condolences to those who lost their lives and their bereaved families in Turkey and Syria in connection with the devastating earthquake that took place in southeast Turkey on February 6th. And I also would like to express my deepest sympathy towards those who were injured. With all the hardships Japan went through, as caused by many natural disasters, including the Great East Japan earthquake, we can imagine clearly how hard for them to survive in a devastated area. We continue to stand by them, sharing their hardships and help them overcome their difficulties. 2 days ago, I had a telephone conversation with a Turkish foreign minister. At the meeting, I told him the Japan disaster relief rescue team was already dispatched and already in operation, and expressed our readiness to provide the further assistance Turkey needs. Japan is ready to provide maximum support to the affected people. As part of our assistance efforts, today, on the 10th, we decided to provide tents, plastic sheets, blankets, and sleeping pads as an assistance package to Syria in response to its request through JICA, Japan International Cooperation Agency. We are also in consultation with the Turkish government to further provide emergency aid. At the night of the 10th, the first batch of the rescue team, made up of 5 medical experts, was sent to Turkey to identify what actual needs do exist on the ground. Going forward, dozens more will be sent at the night of the 12th. We will continue necessary support based on the needs on the ground.
We would now like to take your questions. Tanaka-san from Jiji Tsushin Press, please go ahead with your question. Thank you, Tanaka from Jiji Tsushin Press. I would ask about the Olympic Games, if I may. Now, the IOC has indicated its policy that it will allow Russia to take part in international competition based on the condition that these athletes maintain neutrality. But then Europe and US are now against this, and they're indicating possible boycott. What is the Japanese government position about this? Yes, thank you very much. With regard to the treatment of athletes from Russia and Belarus, bearing in mind the policy followed by the IOC, International Olympic Committee, we understand that the international federations related to various competitions are to take decisions based on their own responsibility. That's what I understand. But in any event, as far as the Japanese government is concerned, with regard to the reckless act by Russia vis-a-vis aggression into the Ukraine, there's no change in our position to offer assistance to people in the Ukraine who are making tremendous efforts to safeguard their country. Thank you. That is all.
NHK Iwasawa-san. This is Iwasawa of NHK. With regard to support and to Ukraine, today that the PBC is going to, the equipment was provided to PBC. 1 year has passed since the start of the invasion. What is going to be the effect of this supply? Yesterday, at Kyiv of Ukraine, Ambassador Matsuda attended the meeting to provide broadcasting equipment to the PBC. The television tower was destroyed by the Russian troop last March. PBC used a mobile transmission equipment in place of a TV tower. So the mobile phones were used for the coverage, but photographing or video taking by this mobile phone faces a lot of difficulties in terms of editing. And through JICA, Japan decided to provide to PBC mobile transmission equipment and to the head office in Kyiv and branch bureaus in Ukraine. And starting from January 2017, we provided support to PVC with regard to the broadcasting system at the time of emergency and providing support, reinforcing the production. So that with this kind of assistance, PVC was capable of establishing the reporting system that is fair and accurate. Going forward, as the host of the G7 for this year, the G7, we believe, needs to provide assistance that is necessary for Ukraine based on identification of appropriate needs. Thank you very much.
Hamamoto-san from IWJ, please. Good morning. My name is Hamamoto from IWJ. I would like to ask about the Ukraine situation, if I may. Last year, in August, in a paper published by the university, should there be a nuclear war between U.S. and Russia, if there is an all-out war, and if the nuclear winter season were to apply, the protection, according to the Rutgers University paper, is that 5 billion people could die. Because Japan is a country with very low self-sufficiency rate, the projection is that the Japanese population could be wiped out due to hunger. So, I think diplomacy seeking the stop to this war should be in line with the national interests of Japan. What are your views about this? Yes, thank you. With regard to Russian aggression into Ukraine, is an attempt to unilaterally change the status quo through force. And it is a reckless act that could shake the foundation of international order, inclusive of Asia, and not just limited to Europe. Now, this aggression also is a clear violation of the international law, which violates the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Ukraine. We strongly condemn this as the aggression becomes more prolonged. In order to stop the Russian aggression as soon as possible, we will promote assistance to Ukraine and also sanctions against Russia in a very strong manner. Japan is also the only country to have experienced the atomic bomb, and the intimidation of nuclear intimidation by Russia cannot be accepted, and its use cannot be condoned either. So at the G7 Karuizawa foreign ministerial meeting and also at the G7 Hiroshima summit, we would like to demonstrate our strong resolve broadly as possible to the world at that juncture. Thank you.
Ueda-san of Kyodo Tsushin. This is Ueda. Now, sexual minorities and their related actions toward elimination. Any discrimination and the violence against sexual minority should be prohibited. And on the other hand, here in Japan, there is a delay in terms of the discussion about the LGBT-related support legislation. What do you think of the situation towards G7 Hiroshima summit? There should not be any discrimination or prejudice against sexual orientation or sexual identification. The government's position is that diversity should be fully respected and all the people should respect each other and their dignity so that every one of them will be able to have a fulfilling life. And so going forward, we would like to respond to different views. And as the host of the G7 for this year, as the presidency of the G7, we are going to continue efforts to courteously explain our government position. In the capacity of foreign minister, I would like to deliver its responsibility.
Mr. Takeuchi from Mainichi Shimbun newspaper. Thank you. Takeuchi from Mainichi Shimbun. A related question. At the press conference on this, you mentioned that countries outside Japan have some sort of legal system to, such as law to ban discrimination against LGBT, and also legal guarantee against same-sex couples. Japan is the only country in the G7 that does not do that. What are your views? And also, you also mentioned that there should not be any undue discrimination and prejudice based on gender orientation, sexual orientation and gender identity. But we have no such legal system in Japan. Do you believe that Japan's position can really be understood by other countries without such legal framework? Well, thank you for your question. With With regard to the situation pertaining to the G7 countries, I believe I already provided you with a response in the earlier press conference. And as far as our efforts is concerned, in the United Nations, for example, in 2008 at the 63rd UN General Assembly, they adopted a declaration regarding gender, sexual orientation correction. And also, and they come up with LGBT core group, which is a group among related countries for the purpose of protecting sexual orientation minorities. I understand that the title of the LGBT core group has been changed to LGBTI core group subsequently. Japan has been a member since the founding of this core group, and we have been participating in this. And also, we have been participating in the joint statement by the LGBTI core group, as well as various events hosted by this core group in the UN. Thank you.
Related question. The domestic legislations which are lacking, under this situation, is it possible to seek understanding from other G7 members? So these are the efforts we're undertaking at this time under the given situation. With that, I would like to bring this meeting to a press conference, and to a close.